Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be ranking the entire Sleepaway Camp movie franchise. Now I have reviewed every single one of these movies on this channel leading up to this ranking. So if you want to check them reviews out, they will be in the description down below.
Wasn't that nice of me?
Now, there is 5 movies to go through here, even though some may argue that there are only 4. More on that in just a minute. But I do think this was a fun series to watch. Even though some of these films are terrible, they're kind of so bad they're good. They're kind of guilty pleasure movies. 4 of them out of the 5, I would recommend watching with friends and having a few beers and stuff, because there is fun to be had here. And these are all first time watches for me. I'd never seen any of these films before, including the first one, which is kind of iconic, especially for its ending. But this is just how I see it right now. It could change on rewatch, this ranking, but for now, this is the way I see it. So don't forget to leave your rankings down below as well. I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. And just a quick heads up, guys, there are going to be spoilers for these movies, what I talk about here, because I've already reviewed them all, and I want to get into the nitty-gritty here. So just a warning right there, if you haven't seen any of these movies, or you don't want to know who the killer is here and there, that is your spoiler warning right now. So let's just get into it now with 5th place, the worst movie in this franchise and the one film I do not recommend giving a go. So in 5th place, we do have Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor, which arguably to some is not even a movie. And this might just be the worst thing I have ever seen in my life. It is 10 minutes of brand new footage spliced together with the first 3 Sleepaway Camp films. So this is because the director filmed some footage, and then the production company, Double Helix Films, I believe it's called, they sort of went bankrupt and he couldn't finish the film. So what happened was, in 2012, they just put this movie together with kill scenes and stuff of the first 3 movies and put it on a bonus disc for the Sleepaway Camp special edition that they sold. So they decided to sort of have off the Sleepaway Camp fans, in my opinion. I think this should never have been called Sleepaway Camp 4, and they should have just made this as a bonus content, as, an extra of saying what they wanted to do with the film and why it didn't get made. And that would have been way more interesting, having a mini documentary there, instead of making fans sift through 70 minutes of absolute shite, basically. Absolute garbage. This basically sees this young woman who has been advised to go back to the camp where she survived one of the massacres and relive some of these moments to help her through her trauma. And basically, she just looks into the distance while she's sunbathing at the camp, and she'll say something like, "Oh yeah, I remember what happened over there." And the camera will zoom into that location and show you segments of Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3, what happened in that location. Kind of like that movie Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, even though I think that's actually way better than this, because at least we got about 45 minutes of footage in that film. It looks terrible as well. The picture quality is awful on 2 different versions I watched it on, hence why there's probably no video footage in this segment here. And overall, I just don't recommend it to anyone. You can definitely skip this one and just go straight to Return to Sleepaway Camp, which is probably the real part 4 of this franchise. This was just absolute garbage. So definitely in 5th place is Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor. Coming in 4th place is going to be Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now this was very, very close to the 3rd spot on this list, but something really brought it down for me that I had to put it here, and more on that in a second. But this basically brings Robert Hiltzik back, who directed the first Sleepaway Camp film, and he's coming back here for his 2nd movie ever. Yes, he only ever made the first one and this, and that may have got fans of this series a little bit excited there, because we also had returning characters like Ricky and stuff, played by Jonathan Tiersten, and we also had Felissa Rose coming back, who is, yes, she is the killer in this movie. Now, the big problem with this, even though fans were probably excited back in 2008, is that they are just cameos. They are hardly in the movie. Jonathan Tiersten is in this film for about 5 minutes, and Felissa Rose is in this for about 10 seconds at the end. Even though it's probably the best part of the movie, here, the reveal and doing that iconic smile again, or laugh if you like. And the creative kills here, they tried. They tried a lot more than part 3. And the problem is with them, some of them are very, very, far-fetched. They are too creative. The killer relies on so many things to fall his way for this kill to come off, especially the penis mutilation scene, where there's like 6 or 7 steps that the killer has to bank on happening before he can actually pull this guy's penis off. But some of the kills did look cool. The practical effects were fine. But there's no characters in this movie to get behind. There's no story arcs. And there is one character who just brings this movie down so much. And he is played by Michael Gibney, I believe. His name is Alan. He is the biggest talking point of this movie. And in some ways, he's the absolute worst and the best thing about this film, because when I was just watching his scenes, I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. And I had to just laugh at how bad of a character he is. He's like one of the worst movie characters of all time.
You're such a pussy, Alan. Hey, Randy, your ass stinks.
He is bullied by everyone in this movie, but he deserves it because he's a bully himself. He picks on the younger kids. He pulls girls' hair and stuff, and he argues back with everyone. Like, that was the most hilarious thing about him. Every time someone gave him shit, he would give it back. He would not back down to anyone. I found this character so bizarre. He's got this t-shirt on that's filthy. It's full of dirt and grime. And I just couldn't wait for him to swap this shirt. He looked like he just smelled so bad. He looked disgusting. And the next day, he still got the shirt on. He didn't change it. And I'm like, oh my God. Overall, this movie was just so bizarre to me, especially because of this character. And the reveal, you can see it coming a mile off. 30 minutes in, me and my wife called it. There's this cop walking around with a prosthetic nose, this weird beard, and he's talking like he's got like a mic, a voice box, that he talks through. And it's just like so many things to disguise himself as this character. And you can just tell it's going to be the killer at the end. Some really terrible acting in this movie as well. Overall, look, if you want to get high or just have a few beers, then yes, watch this movie and laugh at how bad it is, because it's so bad it's good. But overall, the novelty did wear off halfway through the film, especially of Alan, where I found him hilarious. In the end, I was just finding him so annoying, and it kind of really went on a downward path after that first half an hour. So I had to put this at number 4. That is Return to Sleepaway Camp. Coming in third place, it's going to be Sleepaway Camp 3 Teenage Wasteland. Now, I was kind of excited to watch this movie after watching the second one, because I had quite a fun time with Sleepaway Camp 2. And to see Angela back, played by Pamela Springsteen, I thought she was a great character in part 2, so I was really looking forward to seeing her come back. The big problem with this movie is it's filmed straight after Sleepaway Camp 2. I don't know if they had some budget left over or whatever, but they decided to make another movie and film these back to back. And everything about this film is just half-hearted. Now, don't get me wrong, it's kind of fun to sit through at times, because it's basically doing what the second one does, which I really liked. However, it's just half a good version of that, really, which can still have fun. With that, there's plenty of kills, although a lot of them are off screen, and some of them are people getting hit with sticks and stuff. But this, again, is just so bad, it's a good movie. Pamela Springsteen, which was the absolute best thing about part 2, she just doesn't seem like she's putting it all in again here. It's kind of like she's been asked to do something again. She can't quite reach the high of playing Angela. you know, for a second time, like she did with the first time. But she's still fun to be around in this movie. She's still ruthless. She's still just has no ounce of emotion when she's taking people out left, right, and center here.
Seems like every time I go to camp, somebody loses their head.
Hey, look, it was a fun time. There's some bizarre lines of dialogue in here, like there's this camera crew woman who's filming the camp because the whole story is about these lower class kids mixed with these rich kids and how they're going to get on with the camp, even though that story goes basically nowhere. But I liked how she stopped filming and she just went up to Pamela Springsteen's character and said, "So, it's been a long day. You know where I can score some coke?" So it's just things like that. There's some one thing that put me off, man, there was some really bad racist shit in this movie, in my opinion. Like, some of the racism in this film didn't need to go that far. It's kind of over the top. And the people who are being racially abused are the ones getting in trouble here. Like, that just would not happen in this day and age. But overall, I had a fun time with this movie. It's not great or anything, but again, like Return to Sleepaway Camp, you can just have fun with it with a few beers or getting high with your friends if you like. It was very close. But in third place is Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. Coming in second place is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Now, you can probably already guess what number 1 is, but if you're asking me to rewatch one over and over, I might just go with this one, even though the other one is an overall better film. I had a lot of fun with Sleepaway Camp 2. Now, what I liked about this one is the first movie is a whodunit film. This one, we know who the killer is from the off, and it's just Pamela Springsteen being Angela and just tearing shit up from minute 1 to the minute last. She is taking people out left, right, and center here. The kill count in this movie must be triple the first one, surely. And she's like this ultimate prefect. She's fully embraced the summer camp life here. And she basically wants everything to run smoothly. She's this ultimate control freak. And if you step out of line or you have fun that isn't within the rules, she is going to punish you by death. So basically, if you're going to have sex in this movie, she's going to find you and kill you, man. That's the end of it. And if you play any pranks or anything, you might just be burned to a crisp. Yes, there's people killed by being burnt alive in this movie. There's people's heads being taken off. She just does not give a shit.
Let this be a lesson to you. Please. Say no to drugs.
And this one definitely went down the route of horror comedy. It knows what it is. There's so much cheese. There's so much hilarious dialogue in here. So, yeah, the director absolutely knew what this movie was. And I like the way everyone just fully embraced it. Everyone's just having fun in this movie. And Pamela Springsteen was awesome as Angela. There are 2 Angelas here for me. Felissa Rose and Pamela Springsteen. Well, obviously there are 2 anyway, but I just see them as 2 totally different characters, really. One is the shy girl, and this one is just the total opposite, this wacky, insane character. And she was awesome. She was the best thing about this movie. So I had a lot of fun with Sleepaway Camp 2. If you're a slasher fan and you can appreciate this era of the 80s with the total cheese and stuff, I think you'll have a great time with this. Oh, I've just got to mention as well, that scene was probably my favourite scene in the entire franchise, where this guy is dressed as Freddy at one point, and this other guy is dressed as Jason, a terrible looking Jason, and they're playing pranks on the counters, and Pamela Springsteen says, "Fuck that," and comes dressed as Leatherface and takes them out with a chainsaw.
Once I start a task, I always finish.
You don't get much more awesome than that. So in second place, even though it was very close, is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Coming in first place, though, is the original Sleepaway Camp. Yes, known for its iconic ending, but more on that in just a second. I liked a lot of things about this film. Yes, like the other movies, it's very cheesy. It's so bad it's good, really. However, this one just does it in a little bit more of a better manner. You know, it's more control, if you like. And some of the kill scenes here were awesome. That guy who, you know, is thrown into, gets all the boiled soup poured over him. He fully deserved that, man. He's the camp paedophile. Yes, he fully admits he's a paedophile in this movie, and all the other characters are laughing along thinking it's okay. So I was like, that guy needs to die.
Look at all that young, fresh chicken. Where I come from, we call them baldies. Makes your mouth water, don't it?
So he gets all this boiling soup poured over him, which was awesome. I like how all the kills are done from a first person point of view, kind of like Friday the 13th. I definitely think this took so much inspiration from Friday the 13th. It is kind of obvious that the killer may be Angela in this movie, because she goes to camp with her cousin Ricky and she's picked on by everyone. She's a mute for half this film, and I loved how much characters were getting pissed off by her not talking, not reacting. She's just staring at them, and you can tell that she's winding them up even more just by staring at them, and they're getting more angry. I thought that was awesome. Felissa Rose was cast perfectly here, just because of the look of her and stuff. It totally worked. And I liked some of the other death scenes as well. Like, this how cheesy it is. This guy is drowned at one point, and as he's drowning, he just gives a little wave to the camera. Aunt Martha, I think her name is. My God, she is the worst actress I've ever seen, but it just fits the movie. Like, she's so bizarre. Like, she'll go, yes, you've got to go to camp and you can't be late now. Oh no, that wouldn't be good at all, no.
Any chips?
Why, of course. I believe there's a whole bag.
Well, I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, like I said, this is just so bad it's a good movie. You can have so much fun with it. Now, the ending is what is the big talking point about this movie, is because Angela is in fact a boy. She was this survivor at the start of the movie, and her weird Aunt Martha turned her into a girl because she wanted a daughter. They already had a son, and she's just standing there with her dick out, basically. And she's decapitated this boy. Now, for me, I think this ending is a little bit overrated because it doesn't change anything throughout the film, whether she's a boy or girl or not. For me, it had no difference whatsoever. People might think it's so clever and stuff, and at the time, I can see that be shocking, but looking back now, I just think, oh, she's a boy, so what? I mean, it just had no resemblance whatsoever for me personally, but I get why people do think it's iconic, because that image at the end there, man, that is etched in a lot of slasher fans' memory. So I had a good time with Sleepaway Camp, and it comes in at number 1. Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this franchise ranking. What do you think of these Sleepaway Camp films? Are you a fan of them? Are you not? What is your ranking? Leave them down below, and we'll get a bit of a discussion going. So thanks so much, everyone. I hope to do another franchise soon. I don't quite know which one it's going to be, but if you want to leave your suggestions down below, that would be awesome as well. Nothing too popular just yet. I'm going to save that for a later date, but I'm thinking maybe the Critters movies, the House movies. I maybe go down one of them paths. But we do have The Exorcist coming out soon, so I may do an Exorcist one. Who knows? Thanks so much, everyone. Give this video a like, subscribe if horror is your type of thing, and I'll see you all on the next video. Take care.